It was supposed to be a simple weekend getaway. The group had split into pairs, cabins assigned, laughter echoing through the forest as the night settled. But the real problem started when Jungkook opened the door to cabin 3 and saw only one bed. You followed behind him, arms full of snacks and an oversized hoodie hanging off your shoulder. Oh, you blinked. That's a problem. Jungkook turned to you, lips twitching. You scared? You rolled your eyes, brushing past him. Not unless you are, golden boy. He bit his bottom lip, amused by your confidence. Minutes later, you were both lying in bed, backs turned, pretending the thin blanket between you acted like some sacred boundary. Why, N? His voice was quiet in the dark. Yeah? Are you cold? You swallowed. His voice had dropped an octave. It was warm, playful, dangerous. I'm okay, you said. Silence. Then, you smell nice. You turned slightly. Excuse me? He was already looking at you, face half lit by the moonlight sneaking through the curtains. His hair was messy, lips parted, one hand tucked under his head. I said, you smell nice, he repeated, eyes dropping for just a second to the exposed skin where your hoodie had slid off your shoulder. Jungkook, your voice warned, but also invited. Don't worry, he murmured. I'm just appreciating. You know, you're a little too attractive for me to sleep comfortably next to. Your heart pounded. He continued, voice lower now, velvety and teasing, it's not my fault. You climb into bed wearing that, he pointed to your shorts and loose top, and expect me to act normal? You turned fully toward him now, challenging. And what would not normal look like? His hand slowly slid between the sheets, not touching you, but close enough for your skin to feel the heat of his fingertips. Why, N, he said softly, seriously now, if I turn toward you. I might not stop at just looking. Your breath caught. And for the first time all night, the silence felt like static, charged, waiting, trembling between two people who suddenly weren't so sleepy anymore. You didn't answer him right away. Because what could you say to something like that? Your body was already humming, heart racing like it wanted to leap out of your chest. The only sound in the room was the soft shifting of sheets. Jungkook finally turned toward you, slowly, like he was giving you time to stop him. You didn't. He propped himself up on one elbow, face inches from yours now. His eyes were darker in the dim light, focused only on you. You're really not going to push me away? He asked, almost in disbelief. You tilted your head. Would you stop if I did? His grin was slow and lethal. Probably, but it would kill me. Your breath caught as his hand finally reached out, lightly brushing the hair off your cheek. His fingertips trailed down your jaw, lingering like they were learning your skin. You're dangerous, why, N, he whispered. You're the one in my bed, you murmured, voice unsteady. I think that makes you the dangerous one. His thumb traced the edge of your lip, and your lips parted instinctively. He leaned closer, his breath tickling your cheek. If I kiss you, we're not sleeping tonight. Your fingers curled around his shirt. Who said I wanted to sleep? That was all it took. His lips met yours with a slow hunger, a press that built heat in seconds. He tasted like spearmint and something darker, something you couldn't name but wanted more of. The kiss deepened, hands sliding under fabric, teasing skin, pulling each other closer until space didn't exist between you. You didn't know when he ended up half on top of you. You didn't care. Still cold, he whispered between kisses, his voice husky now, dripping with mischief. You smiled against his lips. Burning. Sometime after the kissing slowed, after fingers had explored skin and whispers had filled the dark, you both lay tangled together in silence. Jungkook's head was on your chest, his hand lazily tracing patterns over your hip bone beneath the blanket. You played with the ends of his hair, chest still rising a little too fast. Neither of you said a word for a while. The storm of tension had passed, but what followed was something gentler and scarier. Intimacy. Real, quiet, dangerous in a different way. I can't remember the last time I felt this calm, he murmured against your collarbone. You smiled softly. You're barely ever calm. Exactly. He pulled back enough to look at you, his fingers moving to your jaw again, like he couldn't stop touching you. But with you, everything slows down. Your eyes searched his face. Jungkook. He looked almost shy now, something rare for him. He bit his lip, then asked, was this just physical for you? The question caught you off guard. Because it wasn't. It hadn't been for a while, not since he first touched you like he already knew your body, not since his fingers had memorized the dip in your back or the curve of your spine like art. And especially not now. You took a breath. No. Was it for you? He let out a small laugh, tired, honest. I wish it was. Would have been easier. That's when it hit you. This wasn't just about heat. It was something deeper, something blooming beneath the surface. A crush, maybe, but growing fast into something far more dangerous. You reached out, brushed his cheek with your knuckles. There's something about you, Jaeon Jungkook. Something that's really hard to unfeel once you felt it. He leaned into your touch. Then don't try to unfeel it, he said quietly. Just stay. Tonight, tomorrow, whatever comes after. You didn't answer, but you didn't let go either. It was well past 2 a.m., and the forest outside was asleep. But inside the cabin, you were wide awake, and so was Jungkook. He watched you, not in the casual way a guy watches a girl. No, this was different. His eyes roamed over your bare shoulder, the messy strands of your hair, the way your lips curved slightly even in silence. It was the kind of stare that lingered with meaning, like you were the most hypnotizing thing he'd ever laid eyes on. You're staring again, you said softly, eyes still closed. Can you blame me? His voice was lower now, rougher. You opened your eyes and turned your head toward him, smirking. You act like you've never shared a bed before. I haven't, he murmured, with someone who made me forget what sleep even feels like. Your cheeks flushed, not from embarrassment, but from how intensely he meant it. You turned to face him, lying side by side now, inches apart. You like being this close? You teased. He didn't even blink. Too much, he said. Close enough to see your freckles. Close enough to feel your breath. Close enough to want more. Your heart raced as his hand slid under the blanket, brushing your thigh, lightly, lazily, like he was just reminding you that he could. More? You asked, voice a breathy whisper. He grinned. Yeah, and suddenly he was above you again, warm skin brushing yours, his hands exploring the familiar curves they'd already begun to crave. But this time, it wasn't rushed. It wasn't just desire. It was possession, not in a controlling way. In a craving you, memorizing you, need to know every inch of you way. Jungkook, you whispered as he kissed down your neck, his voice hot against your skin. You make me insane, he said. I can't take my eyes off you. And the worst part? You gasped as his lips grazed your collarbone. I don't want to. Later, as you lay tangled again, wrapped in warmth and tangled breath, he whispered into your ear. This feels like the beginning of something. And you? You couldn't disagree. The first rays of sunlight slipped through the curtains, casting a soft golden glow across the tangled sheets. You were still there, curled beside him, hair fanned across the pillow, wearing nothing but his oversized shirt. Jungkook lay on his side, watching you sleep as if trying to memorize the shape of your dreams. He hadn't slept, not really, not when his mind was spinning with everything he wanted to say, but hadn't. Everything had changed last night. And yet, somehow, nothing felt heavy. It felt right. Your lashes fluttered open slowly. You're staring again, you murmured sleepily. Yeah, he whispered, voice raspy. You caught me. You stretched lazily, one hand reaching out to rest on his bare chest. What time is it? Too early to be thinking about leaving. You smiled, but didn't say anything. That silence stretched, and this time, it was laced with something new, uncertainty. You're thinking about what this means, Jungkook said, watching you carefully. You hesitated, then nodded. Aren't you? He ran a hand through his messy hair. Yeah, but I'm not overthinking it. You sat up a little, the sheets slipping down your body. His eyes followed the movement instinctively, but this time, there was more emotion than hunger. You said last night felt like the beginning of something, you said. It did, he replied. And what if it's not? Jungkook sat up too, facing you now, his tone suddenly more serious. Then I'd still be glad I had it with you. You stared at him, caught off guard. He reached for your hand. But I don't want this to be just a memory. I want it to be real. I want you, outside the cabin. Outside the bed. You swallowed hard. Jungkook, I mean it, he whispered. You're not just someone I wanted for one night. You're someone I'm willing to lose sleep for. Again and again. Your chest ached, in the best way. But what if things get complicated? You asked softly. He leaned in, resting his forehead against yours. Then let them. We'll still be us. You stood at a BTS afterparty, dressed in black, sipping from a glass, lost in the crowd. Jungkook slipped beside you like a secret. His fingers brushed yours. You looked up, and he smirked, boyish, dangerous, yours. You still think it was just about one night? He whispered against your ear. You smiled, lacing your fingers with his under the table where no one could see. Not anymore. And just like that, what started with too much heat, turned into something you'd never burn out of.